Bishop, members of the annual conference, the complete 2018 Statistician's Report is found on the conference website, but it can also be found on the nifty AC-18 app that you can load onto your phone. For my report this year, I want to talk about strengths and weaknesses. I have found over the years we grow by understanding our failures and weaknesses as well as our victories. I must confess, one failure or weakness I experienced this reporting cycle was the fact that I could not come up with 14 additional new members to report. I looked high and low. If I had found those 14, I could be reporting to you right now that our annual conference had an increase of 1 new member. As it stands, we had 226,310 members at the close of 2017, which represents a loss of only 13, which is good news compared to many other annual conferences in our connection. So we can celebrate that our annual conference is healthy. We had 2,569 professions of faith, and that was 210 more than the previous year. Our average weekly worship attendance was 70,054, and we reported, this is new, we reported 4,392 worshiping online. So I could play with those numbers, and you know I love to play with my numbers. We had 3,102 fewer worshipers in the pews compared to 16. But if we combine those worshiping in the pews with those online, we had nearly 1,300 more hearing God's word proclaimed than in 16. This is good news. There is good news in those numbers if we hear it that way, and apparently you did. Again, I want us to look at strengths and weaknesses. Average Sunday school attendance was down by 2,057. The United Methodist men and women and youth all reported spending less money on projects in 17. Now, don't get discouraged. All of those numbers are based upon what your church reported this past January. I always challenge you to make sure that your local church is reporting accurately. Are you? All of us together increased our apportionment giving by a little more than $611,000 over the apportionments given in 16. Woo-hoo! Do it. Woo-hoo! Thank you. Look at, I need a hobby, all right, in retirement. It's the numbers. It's playing with the numbers. That's my hobby. Look at what you gave. $14,183,000 in United Methodist related and local benevolent causes in your communities. That was an increase of $1.24 million. That's good news about what you're doing. You lowered local church indebtedness by almost $1.8 million compared to what you did in 16. Your reported giving on table 3, which is the income report. Your reported giving on table 3 to local programs in your church and activities in your church, you increased that by $9.7 million. That too is a significant increase in your giving to your church. In addition, you raised over $1.45 million additional dollars in capital campaigns for a total of a little more than $16 million. Now again, this represents what you reported. When you go home or when you see your pastor here, or perhaps you could turn to him or her right now if you're sitting with them and ask, are our reports accurate? Were our reports accurate? The accuracy of your reports is dependent upon your finance committee, church treasurer, financial secretary providing accurate information to your pastor for table 2 and table 3. Remember, your apportionments are calculated on what you submit on table 2. One last word about strengths and weaknesses. We have a strong annual conference. Ask yourself this question: how many of your pastors over the years have come to North Carolina from other states because they were attracted to the historical strength of our annual conference? I am one of those. You are about to see a wonderful evangelism video. If we follow the directions and attend the workshops, it will help make us even stronger. Cast aside what you think are your personal weaknesses. Allow God to strengthen you and your faith. Put your faith into action. Remember the words of St. Paul to the Philippians in Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's you too. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So let Christ strengthen you by faith so we together can find my 14 members. Why, with the power of God within you, why not 140 or 1,400 or, my goodness, 14,000? You are strong in faith. Increase worship attendance through evangelism. Strengthen your local church through evangelism, and watch this exciting video. God bless you all.
Hello, my friends. My name is Reverend Bruce Skipper. I am the chair of the Conference Evangelism Commission. My friends, we have to help Reverend George Speak find 14 more, 140 more, or 1,400 more people. Last year, this committee set a goal that each church would have at least one profession of faith. This goal is still before us. In Acts chapter 8, we hear Philip preaching Christ in Samaria. He went to a place where he would be hated the most. He went to the place where his culture was not accepted. He went to the untouchable people that Jews normally would not go to. Friends, if we want to share Jesus with those who need him the most, we have to be willing to get outside the walls of the church. We must truly care for people and share the love of Jesus with a genuine heart. That's what will make our churches and our conference grow, sharing Jesus with real, authentic love. In 2019, the Commission on Evangelism will be sponsoring one-day events in each district. This events will be called C2C, Connected to Christ, and will focus on empowering laity and clergy with tools for active evangelism. There will be sessions for all groups, including children, youth, and older adults. The Evangelism Committee and I are asking you today to support these events. I remind you that everyone needs Jesus Christ. Lastly, I would like to recognize our 2018 Harry Dimon Award recipients. This year, we are recognizing 2 laity. The first is Wendy Harrell Rose from the Wesley United Methodist Church in the Beacon District. The second is Randy Evans from St. Paul's United Methodist Church in the Harbor District. And our clergy award this year goes to Reverend David John Blackman, who is from Hay Street United Methodist Church in the Gateway District. The Youth Award this year will be presented at ACS in July. Congratulations to the servants of God. Blessings to all of you. Thank you for supporting the work of the Commission on Evangelism in the North Carolina Annual Conference.